Hello, I'm Jim Grimes, and I'm a member of Local 86 in Seattle, Washington. I've been an ironworker since I was a young man. I began the trade when I was 18 years old. This is all I've done my entire adult life. And there's a lot to this. This has been an opportunity that has made my life something that I didn't think would ever be possible. We're going to take a little bit of time now in your class and with your instructor and your classmates. And we're going to talk about something that's been a part of my life, and that is drug and alcohol addiction. And it's been a big part of my life, and I found that in the trades and even everywhere I go, this is a big part of our lives. It's around us all the time. And I would ask each and every one of you to question in your mind, have you been touched by drug and alcohol addiction and the problems that it causes? So we're going to go through a couple little things, and your instructor is going to be talking to you about some other ideas and concepts. And this is meant to be a conversation amongst all of you. And what we're going to do is share with you some ideas about how these kinds of addiction have touched other brothers and sisters in the trade. And myself personally, I started drinking at a very young age, at 12 years old. My dad was an alcoholic, and that started me on a path of my addiction. I got into the union at 18 years old, and I thought I had found heaven. These guys told me that if I worked hard every day, showed up on time, they'd give me a wheelbarrow full of money every Friday, and I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. All the money I could use, and these guys drank and drugged just like I did. And for a while, that was a good thing. But after a while, it turned into a nightmare that almost ruined everything for me. And that's where I decided at one point in my life, when I was 40 years old, I had done that for 28 years, since I was 12 years old, that I had to make a change. I had to find a solution. Because you see, addiction is a very subtle foe. It sneaks in very slowly, sometimes quickly. There's, especially with the drugs that we're confronted with today, with fentanyl, and heroin, the opioid, methamphetamine. It's a much quicker cook than the old alcohol used to be. And I know all of you know what I'm talking about. Whether you've been around it in your personal life, at home, and even on the job site. And for me personally, I had to turn that around. And I had to figure out a way to move on in my life clean and sober. And there is a solution to this problem. There is a way out. And what we're going to talk about, and your instructor is going to talk about, is the solution. And I hope that among you, you can talk amongst yourselves about your experiences. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at some of your peers, some other brothers and sisters, and what they went through. Let's take a look. Horrible, awful, struggle, heartache.
I really don't remember the feelings. There weren't many feelings.
Oh, it was up and down. You never knew what you were going to do from one day to the next. It was just constantly chasing that next high or your next fix.
I had a routine in my madness, just to fool myself into thinking that I had it all together, you know. But whenever it actually all did crash down around me, and I seen that I was really just in my madness.
My main source of living was I like to rob, and did bank robberies, and ended up doing a murder and bank robberies, what I ended up doing in my life, because of drugs and the lifestyle I was living.
In and out of prison, in and out of jail, just a horrible life, horrible life.
There was no security. I was almost always broke because I was just buying a bunch of drugs and alcohol. I was staying out late, like past to 3 or 4 in the morning, coming home wasted. My mom seeing me like that, and it's just, you know, it caused a lot of stress for her, and there was just no stability in my life at all.
When I was stuck in addiction, my life was a mess. I lied to everybody. I was not responsible for anything. I didn't take responsibility for anything. I never had any money. I was constantly hurting the people I loved and making bad choices, ending up in jail. I spent a lot more time without freedom than I would care to admit, and just was a nightmare, basically.
Well, at the time I was homeless, so you know, when you're homeless, basically your life is such that you don't want to deal with reality, and so you're trying to survive. You know, you're trying to eat and find a place to sleep, you know, and find somewhere where you can be safe. But at the same time, you can't deal with your reality because it's so hard. So you just, or I wanted to just stay loaded all the time. But then when you do that, it makes it hard to survive. So it's kind of a self-defeating thing.
I started using drugs and alcohol at age 13 up until age 18 when I went to prison for drugs. I did 4 separate trips of prison between the ages of 18 and 24 when the Ironworkers recruited me from prison.
It was a selfish life. I didn't give a shit, and I didn't care about no one but myself. My drunk was the only thing that mattered, and taking whatever pain it was or excuse to tip that bottle and get that drink, and some of it had to do with being accepted. You know, I thought that was the cool way to be accepted in the trade that I was in, and it wasn't.
Either prison or death. That's what brought me to stay in recovery.
My children, they were getting older, and they knew something was different. And I didn't ever, oh, look, here we go. I didn't ever want them to look for that out. So I had to change something.
I was living on the streets, I was homeless, I had nothing, I kept getting in trouble, in and out of the court system, and then finally that day came where I committed the wrong crime, and they said, hey, you're going away for a couple of years. So after about a year and a half in, being clean and sober, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to stick with this.
When I picked up the alcohol, 1 drink would turn into 2 drinks, and before you know it, I was drinking a 5th of whiskey a night. I'd have to get up in the morning and take a drink before I'd head off to work. Everybody at work could smell it on me. Everybody was getting concerned. I ended up getting fired left and right, and I lost everything that I had and ended up with nothing or nobody, and had no alternative but to go to treatment.
Rock bottom was when I was 19. I got sentenced to 27 years in prison for bank robbery and murder, and of course that didn't make me stop. I was in prison and doing what prisoners do most of the time, drugs, alcohol, what have you, and caught another murder in prison and was put into a cell for 18 months with just me and my own head, and just did a lot of self-analyzing, and at the time, it was just a bottom for me. It was just, that was it. I had a choice to make, to either finish my life in prison and never get out, or, you know, do what should have been right and get clean and start programming and trying to build a life outside that fence.
I got tired of being sick and waking up every morning sick because I was a heroin addict. I got tired of not having any true, real friends or people in my life.
got tired of letting my family down. I mean, it was a combination of everything. In and out of jail, in and out of prison, in and out of the hospital.
I literally woke up in the hospital. I had no idea what was going on. I had a tube down my throat. I couldn't breathe on my own. All my family around me just crying. People I haven't seen in years that I knew cared about me just seeing me lay on a hospital bed. And I kind of realized, like, yeah, if I don't stop, you know, this is kind of a wake-up call. If I don't stop, this is going to kill me.
For me, once I was sober for a long enough period of time, I had a moment of clarity. And in that moment of clarity, I began to be curious about what my life could be like, because I had wasted most all of my good money-making years just getting loaded. I didn't get sober till I was 34.
Made a decision to get my finances, my life, my family back together. It basically destroying the world as far as I was concerned, and I couldn't hold a job very well, and basically decided to get clean.
Hit rock bottom was just the jail and the rehabs, like probably 5 different rehabs, probably lost 5 years of my life doing county time, almost looking at state time, you know, because I just got so deep into it, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing not being able to put away something, and I was just embarrassed of being in trouble, and embarrassed because I have a last name and a local that I wanted to represent, and I just wasn't doing the right things, and I had enough of it. I wanted to finish a job, you know. I wanted to be there from the beginning of the anchor boats to the last piece on the tree, you know. And
I had landed myself in jail again for probably the 4th serious time with felonies, and I was looking at 63 months in prison. And my kids were at that age where if I spent that kind of time in prison, they probably weren't going to talk to me anymore. And so I realized that I needed to do something different with my life, and I was blessed enough to have some supportive people in my life that let me know that I was worth it to them, and I started believing I was worth it to myself, and ready for a change.
I have good days and bad days, you know, but the good outweigh the bad, and I can actually have a good life with my wife and my kids now, you know, versus just imagining most of it.
My life right now is blessed right now because of my recovery.
My life's amazing. I have a great family. My son just turned 14. I have an amazing job. I have an amazing wife. I have an amazing life. I only take it one day at a time, though, and that's all I can do. And each day, I just try to be better than the last. Try to be a better person every day. I try to pay things forward. I've been where a lot of people are right now on the streets, so I know how it feels, and I just try to do what I can do to make our society better and our world and our community.
Making great money, work with great people. I can actually live on an income where I can support my whole household without having my wife to work.
I can't describe my life. I mean, from then to now, I mean, it's phenomenal. And, you know, if you're in recovery, you know, by doing the next right thing comes. And I can't describe the joy and happiness that I have due because of this. I mean, this job saved my life. I mean, I was working 3 jobs before this job just to try to do the right thing and survive. And now I just work 1 job, you know, and I love it. I don't see my career going anywhere else.
I have an awesome job. I'm reliable. I'm responsible. I have a great relationship with my family and my kids. I make good choices nowadays, and one of the most important things to me is helping other people get to the spot that I'm in, because I am so filled with gratitude.
I'm a father now, and I've finished probably the last 4 jobs I've been on. I've been able to finish them from the start to the end, and it's an accomplishment. And my bank account shows it, and my insurance show it, and my retirement and the money I've made in the last 4 years compared to when I was doing the different lifestyle. It's unbelievable how much you can make in this trade when you stick to your guns and take care of business and just get responsibility and stop thinking about just yourself.
Well, I have a life beyond my wildest dreams. I couldn't have planned it any better. Like really, I got way better than I deserved. I mean, I got way, way better than I deserved. I mean, I couldn't have planned it to be this good. I never thought it would be this good.
I just do what I gotta do. My life's not real exciting, but it's not in the gutter, you know, that's the thing.
After all the times I've had to pick myself up and try again to get sober, get back into recovery, and all the support that I've had throughout this whole thing and this trade, I have been able to keep the same job for over 1.5 years. I've been moved up to a foreman. I'm in charge of 12 people on my crew right now. I have a lot of responsibility on my plate. I bought a house. And life is really good, and my mind is clear, and I have more fun now in recovery than I ever had when I was drinking.
We can do things. There's no rush. There's no rush at all to get anywhere, to do anything, just to live life and have a life and work and be the mom that my kids deserve to be. I mean, that's what they deserve.
I want to learn more about this trade and be the best journeyman that I can be. There's a lot of things that I want to learn. There's a lot of room for growth. Outside the trade, you know, I just bought a house, so I'd like to learn how to be a good homeowner, you know, how to fix my house, how to be a good partner in my relationships.
To be fruitful in the spirit, and my hopes, it's just that I have a good rest of my life, steady, a good retirement, and just happiness.
From this moment forward, I see it actually working out pretty well, you know, especially here in Seattle. And then, I mean, being sober is just, you know, to me, that's phenomenal, you know, and every day's a blessing, being in recovery. And then, I mean, I can think straight, and then being in a new place, you know, being able to meet new people.
Just continue to work my recovery, work my program, take each day one day at a time. And you know, I came to a realization, you know, I try to every day learn new things, especially about myself, my mental health, whatever. I think mental health has a big reason to do with addiction. So it's funny because it took me a long time to get this too, even though I've been clean since June 6, 2006. And it took me a long time to come to this conclusion that if I can't control it, like literally, if there's one iota of something that's going on in my life I can't control, I just let it go. And if I can keep doing that, which is a hard one, then I'll be pretty good. I see my life continuing to get, you know, just live, be happy, experience as many things as you can experience, live life.
For the young people out there that are making mistakes and whatever, the union job is phenomenal. It's hard work. It's frustrating sometimes, as me being an apprentice right now, but I see the big picture, and this is where it's at, you know? I mean, I don't see myself going on anywhere else, and I hope that the people that are messing up out there can see that they're better with the future in the union and a better job.
I see myself probably with just a family, a big old house, nice cars, just, you know, that kind of dream that you dream of that you just kind of think is never gonna happen. It's more of a reality for me now. So I don't know, I see myself living a peaceful, simple life now.
How I see my future is I see myself helping other people get to the spot where I'm at. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I know that I've gone down below the bottom and I've risen up to the top. And I know that if I continue to give back what I've gotten so freely, that I'll keep what I have. And so I'm just excited to be able to help other people and be able to send the message of recovery that anybody can do it.
As long as I can stay clean and sober, I could do anything. I could continue to work up and up within the union, within the company. I could do anything I really want as long as I stay sober. I think my big plan is to just be happy, show up for work every day, enjoy my job, enjoy my family, take care of my house, and just spend my time sober-minded and with the ones that I love.
I know there's going to be a lot to follow that take the road that I did, and I want to be able to encourage them not to and show them from experience that it's not the right way. And I want to be able to teach people not just about the trade, but about life and making good choices and thinking about other people. Leadership, we lack that nowadays, and I've always just wanted to be somebody that somebody looked up to.
Hello again. We've had some time now, and I hope you've had some discussion, and we've also heard from some of your brothers and sisters about what it was like and what happened in their lives and what their lives are like now. And even most importantly, I believe, is what the future may look like after we found a solution to the problem of addiction. I know that this is just a beginning of this topic for most of you. Maybe many of you have experienced this already in your lives. But as we wrap this up, I just want you to think about one thing, and that is that if addiction has touched your life, or the life of somebody you know or you love or you care about, that there is a solution. There is a solution. And we belong to a union where we have set in place treatment programs, and our insurance covers it. And there's people that know how to handle these things. And as you go forward, and I know that some of you will be thinking about some of these things, as I did, know that there is a solution. It just takes the courage to talk to someone, to reach out for help, and the help will come. Take care.